Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Insurance Education. I am Raymond Macmillan if you're joining for the first time. In today's video, we want to look at reinsurance, and in particular, we would look at a proportional reinsurance treaty called a quota share. It is the hurricane season, so it might well be a good time to check again. Let's look at some items which should be in your treaty and also that you should be fully aware of this. Why? We know that, sad to say, reinsurers have failed in the past and some companies have suffered. In that, you are responsible to cover 100% of the risks to your client, your original client, even if the reinsurer fails. You cannot tell the client, sorry, the reinsurer failed, so I can only pay 10 or 20% of your claim. You're responsible 100%. But ladies and gentlemen, check to see if there's an hours clause. That means for your clients, if an incident occurs, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 incidents within a 36 or 72-hour period, the insurer is entitled to deduct an excess for each and every incident. Therefore, if you have that 72 hours clause, it's the usual clause you would find in the treaty, in the your original insured's document as well, it means that you are providing that cover for your client. They wouldn't be penalized by more than one excess deduction within a 72-hour period. That's the first thing. The next thing, the maximum limit. Sometimes the insurer, who is the cedant, the reinsured, or the ceding office, they may have some staff who would help them in the placing of risks. The treaty can have a limit, a maximum limit of, let's say, 3 million. That's the amount the treaty capacity will take. But you may have a client, maybe your number one broker, bringing a risk that is 4 million or 5 million. You would need to arrange additional cover for any amounts above the 3 million if that's the limit in the reinsurance treaty. Some reinsurance treaty would ask you to arrange that cover first and then let us know. It should be, you shouldn't hide that from the reinsurer. Therefore, you may want to look at facultative reinsurance to place that, the extra, which would be, in my example, 2 million above the 3 million, which is the treaty limit. The second thing is not because you have the reinsurance treaty that you could relax. It says there may be what you call an event limit. Take, for instance, you've got a hurricane. The policy may dictate what is the maximum amount the reinsurer will pay. For instance, if you had 20 houses destroyed, each at, let's say, the limit of 3 million, the reinsurer may say my event limit for hurricanes is 4. You need to be aware of what is the event limit. The next thing I'd ask you to look at is the cessions limit. There may be a cessions limit in the policy, which says, even though you have a hurricane, there are certain classes of risks I am limiting my exposure to. For example, beachfront properties. Rather than saying we are not covering any beachfront property, it may be limited to a certain amount. And ladies and gentlemen, that is where you need to be aware of that limit and arrange additional cover because of the cessions limit. Sometimes the cession limits work alongside the event limit, or instead of. You need to be aware of those. There's so much more I can tell you, but within the short time, we've only spoken about one class of reinsurance called a quota share, and we know that the client, the original reinsured insurance company, ceding office, or cedant, those are the names to the person who is handing the risk over to the reinsurer, and that's the insurance company. They are responsible, as we said, 100% to the original client, Therefore, it is in their interest to make sure that they have done all their due diligence with the reinsurer to make sure when a loss occurs, they can get cover to the maximum extent. There are some islands which were totally devastated by hurricanes, right in the Caribbean. Maybe you would want to look again at your reinsurance treaties. I hope this is helpful to at least one person. Would you ask you to click the like button if you think this is helpful? And why not subscribe to our channel? We have some good information for you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.